Yeah, man. I mean, your first sense of progress photos when you sent it back, I was like, holy shit. But I see where you're coming from when like, you're embodied in so much negativity throughout your life, and then you start receiving compliments, and like you have this thing where like you're not sure if it's real. You think it's real, you're not expecting it. You don't know how to handle it because you've never had it happen before. And then like, you do have this questioning that like because even though there's been like studies shown of like people judging themselves and other people judging them, and like people that are negative on themselves, when they get judged positively from other people, they're like, oh, they're lying, and like they won't trust another person's opinion on how they look. But as far as when you first start here, you lose weight, you look good, you see your abs. That's one thing. That's a whole challenge. And then putting on muscle presents a whole nother challenge because to lose weight, you have to be in a deficit. To gain weight or gain muscle, you have to be in a caloric surplus. So like you're going to get a little chubby. I mean, this is relative, so like gaining a pound of fat to gain 2 or 3 pounds of muscle, that's a pretty good trade-off. And you can go back and cut down. But putting on muscle is something a lot of people struggle with, and it's one of the things that prevents most people from reaching their dream physique, because they get lean first and they're in shape, and then the moment their abs start going away, you get in this panic situation like, oh my god, I lost it, I screwed this up. But that's not it. It's just your goal has changed. So it's not about tomorrow or next week. It's the big picture of how you want to look in 2 months or 3 months, or on your birthday or a wedding or a vacation or whatever it is. So like, it's a process, and like, you can't go a million miles an hour in both directions at the same time. You can't get maximum leanness and maximum muscularity at the same time. You kind of got to pick one or the other. Earlier on, in the beginning, you can see some significant gains like that. But once you've established yourself into a routine and made some progress, the more progress you make, the harder it is to continue making progress. So, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder, and you have to get more, meticulous and more diligent. And, by the time you'll be ready for it. But let me move on to the next one. So, as far as being in the program, what have you learned that was most valuable?
I think honestly, the biggest thing for me has been perseverance and battling through procrastination. Sometimes it takes me, I'll be completely honest, an hour and a half to get out the door to go to the gym. I'm sitting here watching YouTube, I've got my pre workout, I'm ready. And then, like, I look and it's been an hour and a half. And I'm just like, okay, I guess eventually I'll get there. Let's make another pre workout. Let's get there again. And I have to be patient with myself. I have to realize that, like you were saying, you can't go 100% all the time, all the time. Like, it's not possible. You can't be in two places at once. You can't make more hours in the day. So sometimes you do have to rest. Oh, sometimes you have to rest. Sometimes you have to make the space for yourself. But what I realized was that when you get in there, when you get to the gym, when you create these routines, you start to crave these routines and you miss them when they're not there. And you feel them when they're not there, whether it be the anxiety creeping back in or the diet slipping. You're like, okay, hold on, what's going on? All right, yep, I've been slipping here, I've been slipping there. Let's tighten up. And then you feel better. You feel like you have control. And in this world where there's not a whole lot of control, it's nice to be able to take some, to feel some,
For sure, especially in the world we live in now, we don't have control of a whole lot.
right?
I'll share with you for sure that I experience the same thing when sometimes I'm like, ready to work out, and then I look at my clock and I'm like, holy shit, I could have been like halfway done by now. So that is a real thing. And there will be days that you're not as motivated or not as fired up, but that's when you got to fall back on your discipline, your habits, that like you got these non-negotiables, and then you just do it, and you always feel better afterwards. You always feel better. I don't think anybody's ever done a workout and then afterwards being like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. You know,
Exactly.
like, I don't think that's ever happened to anybody.
I don't
Um,
think ever in the history of all workouts. No, no.
so as far as since you've been in the program, what are the best skills you feel like you've learned?
So in my life, this is kind of a big one. I've never felt fit. I've never been athletic. I've never been in a place where if a bunch of folks were playing volleyball, I would play one game and then I would kind of sit out the rest because I didn't like being out of breath and the fat guy at the party. I just would say no a lot. And the changes I have made have allowed me to say yes in my life over and over and over again. Whether it be I'm hanging out with a 9-year-old and he has immense, endless energy, and I'm able to keep up. I can put him on my shoulders and we can play, and I'm not saying, hey, I need a break, buddy. I need a couple minutes to catch my breath. Or there's a surprise hike that day I didn't know I was gonna go on, and no problem. This is awesome. I'm really excited about this. Where I would have had anxiety about going on a bike ride or going on because I was gonna, chafe, or I was gonna be out of breath, or I was gonna sweat, and I don't have these worries anymore. To be fit is a gift that you don't realize you can give yourself until you do. And then you realize that you can surprise yourself.
Yeah, man. No, I see what you're saying. It's like incredibly liberating. You're not worried about anything. Sometimes with these workouts, they get pretty fucking hard, and you feel like if I can get through this and sweat my balls off, and maybe feel like I'm gonna throw up, like I can get through anything. Like there's no hike or no playing with a kid that's gonna like beat you up like that. Like I'll do this shit all day. So Kyle, before you started, was there anything that you were worried about, or any like you thought like maybe you couldn't do it or you couldn't stick to it, or any thoughts like that?
So I think everyone who doesn't, hold on, here. There we go. Sorry. Um, Anyone who doesn't go to the gym is maybe put off or intimidated by gym culture. It can be a lot, whether it be all the machines, all the really good looking fit people. You go there at the beginning and you're not necessarily in the best shape, and it can be overwhelming. But I don't know if I've ever met a more welcoming, accepting, friendly group of people than folks at the gym. More there now, everyone has a crappy experience or an annoying person. Those happen just anywhere in public. But the kindness I've been shown since I've started, the hey man, really bend down and get your shoulder blades in. And I'm like, okay, cool. I had a guy on the Stairmaster challenge me one day, a 60-year-old man, to take my hands off the Stairmaster and really engage my core and see how different it felt. And I have not put my hands back on the Stairmaster since.
Oh boy, yeah,
If a
man.
60-year-old man can do it, I'm like, yo, I'm never gonna be. And now I see other people, and they're like limping. I'm like, you don't walk up the stairs with a
Now,
walker,
now
do
you're
you?
criticizing them.
Right? Exactly.
Like
And
you
now
couldn't
I'm the
handle it,
hard
man.
ass. Right? So it's a fun thing to take something that you may have been intimidated by and to get strength from it, to feel power and almost empowered by it. And that's one thing that I think is something I would definitely share, is that you get a lot of power from that community.
For sure. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of people think like people that are in shape that are like dicks, or they're arrogant, or they're not going to be nice or accepting. But I feel like the fitness community, or like the true guys that are, in shape, they're like the most like nice, humble, welcome you with open arms. They want you to be part of the tribe, and they want to help because, everybody started somewhere. They can probably see themselves in you where when they had just, started out. And as far as, saying, giving people compliments or saying nice things. I just feel like, if you ever have something nice to say to somebody in the gym, even if you're self-conscious yourself about approaching them, like always go and tell that person, I've seen you working hard, whatever it is, because, you never know what anybody's going through. And like your comment on this day might be, for all might be the thing, they might have an awful day. They might have had a couple bad meals. They might be on the verge of giving up. And then like you giving a nice compliment, putting some wind in their sails, can like turn that ship around and like send them this way for the next 3 or 4 months. So I always encourage people, like, if you're noticing somebody doing a good job in the gym or anything, like go and tell them. You never know what somebody's going through, and like for all you know, just saying hello to somebody could be like the game changer that like uplifts them and keeps them coming back, or keeps them from falling into a depressive spiral. Or like, you never know what anybody's going through. So yeah,
Yeah,
excellent
yeah,
point.
yeah. And you get these like gym buddies almost. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know any of their names. I don't know any what they do, but it's that guy. You know.
it's the gym buddy thing gets tough because sometimes you're like, hey buddy, hey bro, what's up pal, what's up dude, and then that goes on for like 3-4 months, and then like 6 months later you're like, I can't ask this guy his name now.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like, all right dude, what's up pal, what's up bro.
Yeah. Hey,
So
Chief.
yeah, whatever you
Yeah.
call it, right. So Kyle, now that you're like well into the program and banging away, like how do you feel?
I feel like honestly, like a new man. Like I have the ability in my life to tackle problems that I used to feel overwhelmed by. Things that seemed like they would be insurmountable. Now I realize there's a process that you start and you learn and you grow and then you can achieve. And that has not just affected my athletic life, that has affected me in all forms of life. And if it took me 38 years to find that lesson, then that's just what it took. But it has given me a power that I didn't know I had access to. In a weird way, I feel like I'm finally the man I was meant to be, or that I had, am able to be.
No, 100%, man. I feel like the workout thing is like the gateway drug to being successful. Like it's the thing that convinces you to believe in yourself that, if I can get through this hard thing, what else can I do? And why can't I do that? Why can't I accomplish that? I just did 78 push-ups. Like, this business meeting or this job today, that's nothing, like I'm not worried, just like puts you in a whole different perspective how you look at things. Um, so is there anything that you learned or achieved during this process that was like a surprise?
One of the biggest surprises was the increase in mental health. I didn't realize I was in such a stressed out, anxious place that I was. I think all of us, self medicate in whatever way we can. For me, it was a lot of food. It was, at one point in my life, alcohol. And these addictive things can become coping mechanisms. And when you take off the stress, when you take the anxiety and you put it into weights and you push it out of yourself and you exhaust yourself physically, your brain is able to relax. Your psyche is able to be comforted by your own strength. And that strength is something that I didn't know I needed and I didn't know I was missing. So once that piece came into place, once my mental health was able to kind of allow me to take a break, I was able to see what I could do, what my body could do, what I'm able to do in the future. And that is an exciting place to be in. Instead of wondering, I'm excited. And that's kind of fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, I think the mental health aspect is something that's severely underrated as far as working out. And when you're sweating your balls off and you're going hard and you're stacking these wins and the endorphins, the endorphins are going, like it's hard to feel bad about yourself or be sad or whatever it is. It's just you don't have the capacity to do so. And just generally, when you come from a place of like hard work, gratitude, love, you really can't find those negative things when you're filled with so much positivity. And just keeping your mind space in the right place instead of the wrong one, and like the way it can change your life and just elevate every part of it is just something truly exceptional. um, so Kyle, what would you tell somebody that was like on the fence or struggling the way that you were and not sure if they wanted to start or not?
I would say they were probably in a place where I was, where you desperately need something. You need a piece to fall into place because you feel out of control. And what I would say is give yourself 6 weeks. Try to do it. Try to give yourself the chance to build a routine. In the Bible, they always talked about 40 days or 40 nights. They would walk 40 leagues across the desert. I think 40 was the biggest number they could think of. It was like a million. So if I have this thing in my head, if I can do anything for 40 days, then it's set. It's a new routine. It's in there. It's not going anywhere. 40 days is the key number that I need to get myself to a place to where I know whether or not I can keep doing this thing or this is a bad idea. I shouldn't do this anymore. And I guarantee you, if you give yourself 40 days, you will not want to ever stop. You will realize the benefits of starting.
Yeah, a lot of times I think like, when people are like feeling down about themselves or in a depressed place, they don't feel like doing anything. And if I could say to anybody, go start a fitness program for 6 weeks and dedicate yourself to it. And if in 6 weeks you're still depressed and still don't, feel good, then maybe try to go a different route. But chances are, I'm pretty confident that 6 weeks of working out and expressing yourself and letting out all this energy, it's very hard to believe that you're not going to feel extraordinarily better. So this is something I believe in so much. It's like, opens up other powers of your life and just, opens so many doors that, you didn't even know you could open. You didn't even know that was an option. So Kyle, what would you tell somebody that was starting in the same situation that you were?
I'd say if you're in the place that I was, where you felt like there was an insurmountable task in front of you, I would say, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. You take the first step, you show up the first day. You get your butt kicked, it sucks. You show up the second day. Then you got to break the third day, and then you show up the fourth day, and the fifth day, and the sixth day. You got to show up. And if you do, if you give yourself the chance to succeed, if you allow yourself the space to fail, because let's be honest, there's going to be failures along the way too. There's going to be setbacks. But if you're patient with yourself, and if you really allow yourself the chance to grow, you will be amazed at what human beings can do, about what your own body is capable of. You will surprise yourself. You will amaze yourself. And that, I guarantee you, will give you strength. It's a very awesome feeling to be able to amaze yourself. And that's something you can't buy.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And a lot of us, we don't give ourselves permission to be great. We don't give ourselves permission to like lead with excellence just because we have self-doubt. We don't even think we can do it. And once you give yourself permission to be great and you see that you can do it, you're like, what was I thinking before? I can't believe I lived any other way than this, So Kyle, as far as being in the program, what was the best non-fitness benefit you've received since joining?
To be completely honest, my sex life. That is not something I expected, but it has been. I'm 38. I thought my best days were behind me. But I can tell you, I have found my best days. I am literally performing at levels that I didn't realize I had in me. And like, not to toot my own horn, but it is enjoyable. It is a fun place to be in your life, to be able to show up for yourself in a way that you might have thought wasn't possible anymore, or that confidence is something that is hard fought for men, and sometimes if you have a crisis in confidence, it's not the greatest feeling. So to regain confidence, especially in my sex life, has been very rewarding. It's been a nice unexpected benefit that I didn't intend or think that I needed, but now that I have it, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. No, it's a big one and it's important as much as like, you know, it's a little bit taboo. We don't always talk about it, but you know, we're talking about improving your life and feeling better about yourself, being confident. You know, that definitely carries over everywhere. Just the way you show up. You know, I'm thinking you're probably like, you're probably like, well, I'm the same, you know, I'm just as good looking or not good looking as I was before, but I feel like I'm attracting a lot more attention now. And, you know, a lot of it is just from the way you carry yourself, or like, you know, you're like dripping with this confidence and it's noticeable to other people and it carries around to you, it carries around to your partner. And, you know, I think it's like a big part of the masculinity, you know, being alpha. And, you know, it's a huge piece of this puzzle as human beings, as, you know, animalistic individuals. Like this is, you know, something that we can't really ignore. And, you know, it's a big, important part of all of our lives. And anything to make it better, you know, that's one of the, you know, the best things in life, you know, and, you know, it's a huge piece that's completely awesome. And I'm happy for you, man. I couldn't be any more happy, bro. This thing might cut off in like a second.